Do you know you have the right to assemble peacefully? This fundamental human right provided in the Kenyan Constitution allows any person to assemble, demonstrate, picket and present petitions to public and private authorities in a peaceful and unarmed way without fear of appraisal, harassment or arrest. Freedom of assembly includes freedom of opinion and expression. In order to realize this fundamental constitutional right, various laws have been enacted to guide the police on crowd control, including the 6th schedule of the National Police Act, the Public Order Act, and the Independent Policing Oversight Authority Act. During an assembly, law enforcement officers are obliged to facilitate and protect assemblies through dialogue with organizers, good planning and transparent decision-making. Maintain security and order and protect bystanders, media and observers against persons who are violent or want to disrupt the protest. Use tact, patience and avoid threatening body language or the display of weapons or other equipment that could be perceived as intimidating or may intensify tension.
Na hii Kenya tumeijenga kwa muda mrefu. Kwa nini tunataka kujaribu in one day? Why? Vijana. Na sisi kesho ndio tunafaidika. Tunafaidika kesho. Hii Kenya ambayo tumejenga tutaifunia wakati tumeona mahali imefika na tunaifurahia. Sawa sawa.
When planning a public assembly, the organizer should notify the police within the demonstration areas between 3 to 14 days in advance. If authorities intend to restrict, for instance, if there is danger of breach of peace, they must do it within the law, articulate and justify their reasons, and engage in a transparent dialogue with organizers. Allowing assemblies is the norm, and any restrictions should be considered exceptions. A spontaneous assembly without formal legal requirement can take place in response to an incident or event. Be present throughout the event, and it is good to appoint marshals to maintain calmness, cooperate with the police to identify and isolate violent participants. And protesters, therefore, should not be armed. It is an offense for any person to carry or possess any weapon during an assembly. Should not commit acts of violence against fellow citizens or state agents. Should not damage public and or private property. If some protesters become violent, this does not make the assembly unlawful. Police must protect the right of others to continue the assembly. The organizers should restrain protesters from becoming violent. Under Kenyan law, violent protesters can be arrested for breach of peace and must be taken to court within 24 hours of their arrest. The arrested person should be subjected to a trial that is free and fair to avoid lump sum criminal responsibility. Arrested and or detained protesters must be treated in a humane manner and with respect for their rights as per the law. Non-violent means are to be attempted by law enforcement officials before resorting to the use of force, unless such delay will be likely to result in the death or serious injury of the police or others, or will be clearly pointless or inappropriate under the circumstances. When used, force must be legal, necessary, and in an appropriate manner, far from vulnerable people and places such as schools. Indiscriminate firing into a crowd to disperse an assembly is always unlawful. Firearms for crowd control can only be used when there is imminent danger and shall solely be for the purpose of protecting life. Officers who use force and firearms resulting in death or serious injury of a person on the grounds that they were following superior orders will be held accountable for the act. And in addition, superior officials shall be held responsible for the actions of law enforcement officers under their command if the superior knew or should have known of the abuses but failed to take concrete action. In the event that serious injury and death occur, then the officer in charge must within 24 hours report to the Independent Policing Oversight Authority. Now you know, respect the law.